What I'm about to explain to you challenges everything we thought we understood about how our planet works. And it's happening right now on two opposite sides of the Pacific. On one side, beneath California's coast, scientists have discovered something that doesn't fit any geological model we possess. On the other side, 5 volcanoes in the Philippines are waking up simultaneously in a pattern that has never occurred in recorded history. These two events might be connected through mechanisms we're only beginning to understand. Let me start with the mystery that's unfolding beneath California's shores, because what we're discovering there is forcing us to rethink the very foundation of Earth science. For decades, scientists have monitored California's coastline with extraordinary precision. Satellites in orbit track every millimeter of ground movement. GPS stations installed along the coast measure vertical shifts with accuracy down to fractions of an inch. This data has painted a picture of a coastline moving in slow motion. The ground rises here, sinks there, but the pace is always glacial. Sometimes a few millimeters per year, sometimes nothing measurable at all. The largest changes on record took years to accumulate. That's what we expected. That's what the models predicted. That's what made sense given how tectonic plates work. Plates grind. Plates bend. But they do it slowly, patiently. Over geological timescales measured in thousands of years. Then something happened that shattered every assumption. The coastline rose, not gradually, not over months, not even over weeks. In a single night, the ground along California's coast from San Francisco to San Diego lifted by approximately 6 feet. 6 feet, overnight. The water in every harbor dropped by nearly 2 meters as the land beneath it suddenly rose. Stranded boats, exposed marine life, entire dock systems left hanging above the receding ocean. When the data first came in, scientists thought there had to be an error. 400 GPS stations reporting the same impossible measurement? That shouldn't be possible. Equipment failure, satellite malfunction, some kind of coordinated glitch in the system? Dr. Eric Fielding and his team at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory spent 48 hours investigating every possible source of error. They pulled the raw data minute by minute. They compared readings from neighboring stations. They cross-checked with satellite radar imagery. They verified with tide gauge records from NOAA. Every independent measurement confirmed the same thing. The coastline had physically moved upward by 6 feet in a single night. What makes this truly extraordinary is not just the distance the land moved, but the uniformity of that movement. It wasn't just one section of coast. It was hundreds of miles, a perfect, consistent uplift across an enormous stretch of California's edge. That kind of uniform movement suggests a single cause operating on a massive scale. Not a localized landslide, not a fault rupture, something else entirely. But the mystery deepens when you look at what scientists found beneath the ground. Gravity meters, instruments that detect changes in the mass beneath the Earth's surface, started reporting unprecedented readings. Every measurement pointed to the same thing: a sudden loss of mass beneath the coast, as if something had been removed or hollowed out, a gravity deficit stretching for miles. The pattern was so clear, so precise, that researchers couldn't ignore it. Then came the seismic surveys. When scientists sent acoustic waves through the ground to map the subsurface structure, they discovered something that defied explanation: a geometric void, a clean-edge gap cutting through the earth like it had been carved with a machine. City block size, perfectly regular boundaries, sharp lines where geological features should be jagged and irregular. No natural cave looks like this. No sinkhole has this kind of geometric precision. No collapsed mine shaft exhibits these characteristics. The shape is too perfect, the edges are too clean, the size is too large. I've spent my career thinking about systems at their breaking points, about pressure and stress and how materials fail. What we're seeing beneath California doesn't match any failure mechanism I can explain. The material filling this void conducts electricity differently than the surrounding rock. It resists every chemical test. The fill material is unlike anything in the geological record. Scientists have proposed 3 competing explanations, and each one troubles me in different ways. The first explanation is brute geology, a natural process so rare and violent that it would fundamentally rewrite our understanding of plate tectonics. But when researchers searched earthquake catalogs and geological records, they found nothing. No earthquake, not even the most devastating events on the San Andreas Fault, has ever produced a uniform uplift of this magnitude. Earthquakes create violence, shattered infrastructure, aftershocks, damage from side-to-side motion. This coastline rose uniformly with no violence, no shaking, no destruction. The second explanation points to human activity. Massive tunneling or excavation on a scale beyond any known project. But audits of construction permits, mining records, oil field maps, and even military archives revealed nothing. There's no evidence of any mega project that could have hollowed out the earth beneath the coast. If something this large was engineered, it left no bureaucratic trace, no permits, no records, no infrastructure above ground showing signs of the work below. The third explanation is the one that keeps scientists awake at night, an unknown process, neither natural nor artificial, something we don't yet have the framework to understand. The substance recovered from the void's edges baffles every laboratory analysis. Its properties don't match any known sediment, rock, or mineral composition. This is where we stand with California, a mystery that defies categorization, a geological event that violates our textbooks. And we don't have the answers yet. But here's where it connects to something even more extraordinary happening on the other side of the Pacific. 5 volcanoes in the Philippines are waking up simultaneously. And this has never happened before in recorded history. Mount Mayon, Taal, Bulusan, Canlaon, and Hibok-Hibok, 5 of the deadliest volcanoes on Earth, scattered across different islands, separated by hundreds of kilometers. And yet, in recent weeks, all 5 have begun showing signs of activity at nearly the same moment. Steam vents opening where there was silence before, ground swelling, earthquakes, shaking communities that haven't felt tremors in decades. It's not coincidence. It's something far more significant. Each of these volcanoes has its own deadly history. Taal killed 1,300 people in 1911. Mayon buried entire towns in 1814. Hibok took over 500 lives in 1951. But these eruptions happened independently, years apart, no connection. Now they're stirring at once. And what terrifies volcanologists is a hypothesis they've been studying but hoping would never materialize. The underground magma chambers beneath these 5 volcano chambers that scientists thought were separate and independent might actually be connected by hidden pathways, fracture networks running through the crust, channels of molten rock moving through the earth. If this is true, then one volcano erupting could trigger the others in a cascade effect. A domino pattern, not just a regional disaster, but a catastrophe affecting the entire Philippine archipelago. Millions of people, multiple eruptions happening within days or weeks of each other. The infrastructure of an entire nation overwhelmed. I need to explain what this would mean. When a single volcano erupts, it's devastating for the region around it. Ash falls, lahars, rivers of hot mud and rock flow down the mountain slopes. The sky darkens, crops fail. But if 5 volcanoes erupt in sequence, or even simultaneously, the ash loading in the atmosphere reaches levels we've rarely observed. Regional climate patterns shift. Agricultural disruption extends across Southeast Asia. Global food prices spike. The economic consequences ripple across continents. In April 2025, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology Command Center in Quezon City began receiving the first warnings. Before dawn, seismic networks detected a cluster of volcanic earthquakes, over 60 tremors in a single morning. Not the normal background rumbling of an active volcano. An unprecedented swarm. Within hours, Canlaon erupted, sending an ash plume more than 4 kilometers into the sky. The command center's dashboard lit up with alert banners, red, yellow, orange, each volcano triggering its own warning system. Bulusan's seismic stations showed 300 volcanic earthquakes in 4 days. Steam venting from the summit reached 400 meters high. The sulfur dioxide being released jumped to more than 1,000 tons per day. That's a massive increase in gas output. More pressure, more force pushing from beneath the surface. Within a week, all 5 volcanoes were on heightened alert status. Not just elevated monitoring, real emergency protocols. Evacuation orders being issued. Flights diverted from ash-laden airspace. Air quality warnings distributed as sulfur dioxide levels spiked. What troubles me most is that we don't fully understand what's causing this synchronization. Why would 5 separate volcanic systems suddenly activate at the same time? There are possibilities. A change in regional stress patterns within the crust. A deep mantle plume, a column of hot material rising from the Earth's interior, perhaps affecting the entire region. The mysterious connection between underground magma chambers that we're only beginning to map. Or there's another possibility, one that connects back to what's happening beneath California. What if there's a planetary scale phenomenon we're not yet recognizing? Some change in how stress is distributed through the Earth's crust on a global level. Some shift in the mantle dynamics that's simultaneously causing continental upheaval in California and volcanic synchronization in the Philippines. I say this not as speculation, but as a physicist trained to see patterns. When you observe 2 extraordinary events happening on opposite sides of the planet at roughly the same time, and both defy conventional explanation, you begin to suspect a common cause. Something operating on a scale larger than regional tectonics. Something more fundamental to how the planet works. The California void remains unexplained. The substance filling it unidentified. The mechanism that created it unknown. Scientists are deploying advanced muon imaging technology, tracking cosmic particles as they pass through the Earth to create 3-dimensional maps of what lies beneath. But even as they gather more data, the uncertainty deepens. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, the Volcanic Command Center coordinates between 5 separate crisis teams as the dashboard continues to light up with warnings. Evacuation decisions hang on real-time seismic data. One mistake could cost thousands of lives. One misinterpretation of the warning signs could mean the difference between successful evacuation and catastrophe. What we're witnessing is a planet more dynamic, more complex, and more unpredictable than our models suggested. The ground beneath our feet is not stable. The systems we thought we understood are revealing deeper layers of complexity. The interconnections between geological processes operate at scales we're only beginning to comprehend. I've always believed that understanding our planet requires intellectual humility, recognizing what we don't know, being willing to abandon old models when new evidence demands it. Right now, we're in that moment. California's mystery void and the Philippines' volcanic synchronization are telling us something fundamental. The Earth is not a simple system of predictable motions. it's more mysterious, more powerful, and more capable of surprising us than we've been willing to admit. The question now is whether we can learn these lessons quickly enough, whether we can adapt our understanding, our monitoring systems, and our emergency protocols to face a planet that's more unpredictable than we thought. Because if these two events are connected, if they're symptoms of something larger reshaping our world, then we need to understand it before the next transformation occurs. And with a planet this dynamic, that next transformation might not wait long.